It's amazing. There's nothing else to add. Today, after so many years, I'm bringing you my Babba Rustico Napoletano again. Let's make it together. Let's get started. So first of all, I take care of the cold cuts and cheeses. I cut the cooked ham into cubes, then I cut the provolone, then I cut the smoked scamorza, now I cut the pancetta, then I cut the salami, and then one more. Once everything is cut, I put the milk in a large bowl. Add the fresh baker's yeast. Dissolve it in the milk, then slowly add the flour. And I start to mix. Perfect. Now I add the vegetable oil, add the eggs, salt, pepper, Parmesan cheese, and mix well. Okay, now I add the cold cuts and cheeses and mix well. By the way, you can find my two cookbooks only on Amazon worldwide. Just search for Carlo Gaiano recipes and you'll get them in at most 2 days. Then I butter a mold well, pour everything into the mold, arrange it a bit, and let it rise in a warm place for at least 2 hours. After 2 hours, I put it in a very hot oven and for at least 45 minutes on conventional bake at 180 degrees. Here it is. Oh, I turn it over. And look at this beauty. So let's take a look. Oh my, if you feel like having roasted artichokes and you can't light the grill or the fireplace, make them with me in this clever way. Let's get started. So first, let's take care of the acidulated water. So we squeeze some lemons and leave them in the water. Now I remove the stem, take off the thorns, and immediately put it in the water. Perfect. Now I finely chop the garlic, then I chop the parsley. After that, I turn on the heat under the pan and add the salt. And while it heats up, I open up the artichokes a bit. After rinsing them, I season with garlic and parsley. And add a bit of salt. And quickly, I continue with the others in the same way. Perfect, now I arrange the artichokes in the pan, add a bit of extra virgin olive oil, then cover with damp and parchment paper and let them cook over medium heat for at least 20 minutes. Perfect after 20 minutes. I remove the parchment paper and cook over a slightly higher heat for another 10 minutes. Perfect, they're cooked. Now I turn off the heat. And once they've cooled a bit, I remove the burnt outer leaves, then I slice them. I transfer them to a container, add garlic and the remaining parsley, a bit more oil, a little salt, then give it a good mix and serve on a plate. Let's see. Oh my! If you're looking for a fresh, easy, and tasty recipe, make this vegetable couscous with me. Let's get started. So, what's the first thing? I cut the bell peppers into very small pieces, and after cutting the peppers, I cut the zucchini. I put extra virgin olive oil in the pan, then I add the freshly chopped vegetables and spread them out a bit. Season with salt, cover, and let it cook for 15 minutes. In the meantime, I pit and chop the olives, then I cut the tomatoes. I deseed them. Then I cut them into rather small pieces. Small, and once I've cut them all, I pour the couscous onto a large plate and level it out a bit. Now in hot but not boiling water, I add the turmeric, stir a bit, then pour it over the couscous, trying to moisten it. All of it, or almost all of it. I cover and let it rest for 5 to 6 minutes. Here it is, that's right. It's ready now. With a spoon, I gently fluff it up. Now I add a bit of salt, a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, Now I add the olives, the tomatoes, the zucchini, and the peppers that I let cool down. I tear up a few basil leaves, give it a good mix, cover it, and put it in the fridge for at least an hour. Here we go. Let's take a look. Oh my, grab the sugar right away. And prepare this wonderful loaded onion frittata with me. Let's do it together. Let's get started. So first of all, after peeling them, I slice the onions, then I give them a good rinse under running water, and then once they're rinsed and drained, I put a bit of oil in a large pan, add the onions, sprinkle a little salt, then add a bit of sugar. By the way, let me remind you that you can find my 2 cookbooks only on Amazon. Search for Carlo Gaiano recipe book and you'll get them in at most 2 days. I cover with the lid and cook on low heat for 20 to 25 minutes, adding just a little bit of water only if needed. In the meantime, in a bowl, I crack the eggs, add the pecorino cheese, put in the parsley, add the salt, and beat everything well. After 25 minutes, I remove the lid and cook for another 6 to 7 minutes. This way, the water evaporates and the onions get slightly golden. Now I add the onions which have cooled down to the eggs, mix everything with a fork, then put a bit of oil in the pan, heat it up a little, and then pour in the egg and onion mixture. After that, I cover it with the lid and cook on low heat for at least 15 minutes. Okay, now I quickly flip the omelette and put it back in the pan. Cover it and let it cook for another 5 to 6 minutes on low heat. Here it is. Let's see if it goes well with bread. Oh my goodness. It's time to make it rice salad. Let's get started. So since the water is boiling, I add salt and start cooking the rice. Since I don't like to rinse it to stop the cooking, I'll simply drain it 2 minutes before the end of the cooking time indicated on the package. While the rice is cooking, I pit and chop the olives. Then I cut the scamorza cheese into cubes. Now I cut the bell peppers and the zucchini. And now the rice, and I let it cool well in a colander. Now, while the rice is cooling, I put oil in a pan, add the zucchini and bell peppers, season with salt, and cook over high heat for 10 to 12 minutes. Now, the last thing to do, I peel the hard-boiled eggs. Okay, now I put the cooled rice into a container. Then I add the corn, olives, tuna in oil, basil leaves, scamorza cheese, and the now cooled bell peppers and zucchini. I add a bit of oil and give it a good stir. And it's ready. Now I add the eggs. Here it is. And look here, how beautiful. And now the controversial question. Mayonnaise, yes or no? I add a little with a spoon or fork here. So mayonnaise is subjective. I mean, if you like it, like in my case, you put it on the plate. Let me know if you use it. I prefer to use a fork. Let's see. Oh my goodness! Take my secret ingredient and prepare this wonderful spaghetti frittata with me. Let's get started. So first of all, one at a time, as usual, I break the eggs into a bowl. Now I add the cream, add the salt, put in a bit of pepper, and add the grated grana or Parmesan cheese. Then I cut the salami into cubes, add it to the other ingredients, and mix everything well, very well, extremely well. Now I add a bit of milk and some sliced provola cheese, give it a quick stir, and then, since the water is boiling, I salt it and start cooking the spaghetti. Okay, now I drain them and let them cool down for at least 10 minutes. Great. Now I put the spaghetti into the container with all the mixture, mix well. Then I add some extra virgin olive oil to a large pan, put about half of the pasta in, and then add the provola cheese. I cover with the remaining mixture, arrange it well, level it nicely, then cover and let it cook for at least 15 minutes on low heat. Great, now let's check if it's stuck. I turn off the heat just to be safe and cover it. and I flip it. Here it is. I turn the heat back on, always on low. Cover it and let it cook for another 15 minutes still on low heat. We're done. I turn it off and put it on a plate. Look here, so let's see. Look here.
Oh my goodness.